is everything that I made in a year. It's a lot, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Last year I bought a sewing machine towards the end of December, and clearly I've been busy, and then I tossed in a little bit of knitting and crochet. If you don't know me, hello, my name is Rebecca. I'm a former fashion blogger. I used to write about fashion and share personal style, and now I also design and make things. Before I jump in, if you want to follow along, see what I do next, make sure you hit that like and that follow button. And if you want more regular updates and to just really stay connected, you can always find me on all socials at Rebecca in Europe. Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Let's get started. So the first things that I made this year would be lovely little balaclava. I'm not going to try everything on, but I'll show over here some like active, how I was wearing them. So I made this and this really fun guy right before a trip down south to Garmisch in Germany, and they were really fun to wear there. Love the little quilted pieces. My favorite thing about making them was probably just figuring out what the fuck I was doing. Pardon my language, but my strategy for a lot of things is just kind of like fuck around and find out, and it's a great way to learn. It's a great way to have a lot of experiments, and these were really cool ones for that. This harness is also an item I made in January. It was one of the things that actually inspired me to get a sewing machine, because I just had this idea in my head. I really wanted a puffed harness, and I decided I would make one. It's still going through a little bit of an update because it had snaps before, and I am going to add buckles, but it's a super fun one. So that brings us to February. And in February, I went to Paris Fashion Week, which was super fun because I wore this pair of Gautier-inspired overalls. I didn't really know what I was doing, so they're a little bit of a hot mess. The challenge with these is it was my first time working with a double-faced fabric, and I split it, which was cool, but then that kind of took away all of the weight behind it. But I still I mean, the bust is the coolest part for sure. Then I took a break. I visited my sister in the States in April. In about May, I was ready to come back to sewing and doing more things, and I made my favorite jeans. These are my absolute favorite jeans. The print is Birth of Venus. I didn't have a pattern. I traced a pair of pants I had. I didn't wash the brute denim before sewing them, so it was really challenging. So I had cut these before I took my break from sewing, and then after a little while I was ready to come back. But I wear these so much. Also in May, I did a lot of things. I finished a lot of projects. This adorable little Prada inspired dress. Favorite thing about this dress, I mean, everything. I love the curved neckline. I like the little hooks on this. This, I did not have anything to go off of pattern wise, so I just kind of like drew it and then prayed. And it worked pretty well considering this curve is pretty intense, which I didn't know how to navigate at the time, which made it very challenging. But I wore this all summer. It's so stinking cute. I really want it to almost like be short, so I'm contemplating that for next year if that was a fun one. In May, I did these super cute little shorts that were a VERSACE jacket that I upcycled. They're still like the top of the jacket, but these were not shorts. These were panels from the jacket, and I think that's the coolest thing is that, so I actually like pieced everything together. I use the existing little slip pockets, but what's funny is they kind of point the wrong way. And then this curve was something I just cut into the pattern. It wasn't there before, and this is actually the lining fabric, but I think that makes them just the cutest little things. And then the last thing that was on the other video is this pullover, which was made out of a fleece blanket. It's super cozy. I wear it a lot. However, I don't think I really followed the rules around grain line on this particular jacket, just since it's made of an upcycled blanket and I cut out pants as well. And as a result, there are some areas that are pulling in a way they probably shouldn't, but definitely a lesson learned on my part. We go into this romper, which I adore and wear all of the freaking time. I drafted a pattern on Illustrator, and so I wanted to test it, so I made it twice. So I have it in, this is a upcycled quilt. I don't think you can see their shorts. See. And then I also made it in this fabric, which is a vintage fabric, which is the same as this one here, but it's not quilted. I did do kind of the facing there in another color, and I do love when you unzip it, you get this fun thing. But as you can see, these are kind of raw. Definitely could use a full lining. Oh, and I did played around with a little bit of crochet on the sleeve, which was super fun. But I have worn this a ton in the summer as well. And these are, yeah, this is a style that I'm just gonna keep doing because it's too much fun. July, I upcycled towels, terry towels, to make this little romper situation. That was a 1930s like step-in pajama. I love the buckle on it. I kind of did the gathers so it actually fits my bust, but I wore this on a road trip, and sitting in a towel while sweating is delightful. So in July, I did something really fun. I went to a course at Central St. Martin's that was couture tailoring for blazers, and it was an absolute blast. And so everything from here past, I ended up picking up a lot of technical knowledge in that week. It was super fun, and I made a bunch of friends that I now keep in touch with and talk to a lot about fashion, construction, design, all of this good stuff. So I'm curious your thoughts on how you think everything changed over time. I was traveling for class, I started crocheting. So I had crocheted a hat, but I think it's packed away with summer stuff. But I also made this, which is funny because was supposed to be a bucket hat, but it's enormous. So I think I can add a rib and make it more of a beret because it's so cute, and it was so much work. And I didn't realize, like, I was kind of doing intarsia, I guess. But anyway, got back, I got really into hyperbolic shaped crochet. There is a really cute little YouTube video on something called the Coral Project, which is amazing. It's about sustainability and also talking about loosely how like hyperbolic shapes mimic shapes in nature. And so basically, if you keep doing this increase, you get these cool ruffles. But this isn't really anything because I did an increase that was too steep. There's also a girl on TikTok who I saw do like a little tutu that was crocheted, and it's the same thing. But again, my increase got so big that I was using like a full string of yarn in a very short time, which makes this super heavy and just not super practical for a garment. But it's cool. I still think it's worth mentioning. And one more thing, just kind of show like learning things. And I started granny squaring and was like, oh, I'll just toss them into a pair of shorts. Like I had a bunch of yarn scraps after doing some of these other things, and that's what granny squares are great for, yarn scrap. Not my best crochet granny square work, but it got better over time. Up next, so this is actually something that's unfinished, but I still kind of want to share it. This is a conceptual thing that I did when I came back after class, just trying to test out some ideas, doing some hand quilting, exploring different concepts, kind of going into more of a design space, which I thought was really neat. I do need to finish it because I want to wear it because it's really cool. August happened, and my sister came out to visit, and then I didn't really have anything again until September that I made, but that is when we get into these Christopher John Rogers inspired pieces. Unfortunately, even though the fabric is spot on, exactly what I wanted, it was a vintage sheet set that looks like Christopher John Rogers, is like a print he has used in the past. It was made of this like silk fabric that just wrinkles to high heaven. So as you can see, these are, I was trying to press them earlier and I was like, I'm just gonna give up. But I love the design. I love the way the pockets turned out and everything. I'm so proud of the set, and as you can see, it looked a lot better on. So this I just wanted to show because I have a couple of things that I didn't finish. We were out of town because of some medical stuff for a really long time. So that's kind of why you're gonna see me switch to a bit more of like knitting and crocheting. But I did make this jumpsuit. It doesn't have a zipper in it, but it has nice little pockets, and brought it with me, or it's a romper because it's cut off, and was just playing around with some detailing on the back. Hopefully I will finish this in the new year because it's super cute. This was the first thing I ever knitted. It's not amazing. I ended up cutting open the side seams, but I mean, for a first attempt, I'm really proud of this. I've worn it recently, and yeah, it just goes to show, like, you can try new things. It's cool. Also, while I was out of town and working on knitting this, I started knitting a beanie inspired by an ACNE beanie because my husband and I share ACNE beanies and we can never find a red one, and it's his favorite color. So I decided I would try to knit an ACNE beanie, and I think it turned out pretty well. Everyone has been wearing it this winter. Let me just pop it on for you and show you. So it's super cute. As you can see, it's super cute. But it was a ton of work. As you can see, kind of the secret to the huge cuff is actually that it gets folded multiple times. A massive amount of knitting. I think it was in September that I first started to try to get the swatch size right for this particular hat, and then I finished it probably late November, maybe even December. And second thing I've ever finished knitting. In November, I was really excited about the concept of kind of like a super wide leg pant and couldn't figure out a pattern that gave me the result I wanted. So I cut together 2 pairs of pants and put them into one to become these super fabulous wide leg pants, which I adore. And I also did something similar to the jacket. This is not finished because it's just not something I'm gonna wear as much, so I'm not super excited about finishing it, but it was a cool experiment to try to just cut the jackets together. But the trousers are incredible, and I have another pair that are almost done made from this pattern that I cannot wait to share. Okay, and last but not least, we have our fabulous Granny Square fun number that I finished like 5 minutes before I wore it because we were leaving to go and do things on vacation, and I ended up cutting off the sleeves because I didn't like how they were coming together and I didn't have time to finish them, so I just chopped them off. I know a pattern has been requested for this. Let me work on it. I think this was a pretty good high note to end on for the year, but again, do we remember these shorts? And then, so this is mid-year and this is end of the year, so again, it's just like, just keep at it. But I'd love to know what your favorite thing was that I made this year. I think my favorites are probably tied between, I mean, I love all of it. If I had to pick, I love the wide leg trousers because they fit so well and I love to wear them. I love that I wear this all the time, the jumpsuit. It's so much fun. I actually even wear this one with like a crochet thing underneath. And this, of course, is like the embodiment of something I've always wanted in my closet, so it has like a special place in my heart, as you can see also by my Granny Square growth very visually. But really, I just love all of it. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment about which was your favorite. Make sure to like and follow, and if you have any questions, let me know.